All right, y'all. So this brought a little smile to my face, if I don't say so myself. This is tweeted out by Polling USA. It's originally from Change Research. Among the 18 to 29-year-old demographic, they were asked the question, where do you get your news? Look at this. YouTube number one. 45%. Whew. Hello to the 18 to 29 demographic out there. How y'all doing? You're looking good today. I like it. Instagram, 43%. National papers, 41%. Local TV news, 40%. Local papers, 39%. Podcasts, 35%. I'm surprised how far below podcasts are compared to YouTube, 10 points below. Twitter, 34%. Facebook, 34%. TikTok, 29%. Radio 27%. I'd love to talk to the people who are still listening to radio. It's amazing. But yeah, look, hey, this is kind of based. Crystal sent this to me and was like, look at this. Look at this. Who knew? Who knew this? Yeah, I agree. I did not know. I did not know this. I like this a lot. Now, look, obviously, you guys know, and I'm biased to say this because I'm on this platform, right? But I do think YouTube is far preferable to corporate media, to CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, HLN, the 8 people that watch that, Fox Business, the 12 people that watch that. But I will say also, ever since YouTube rejiggered the algorithm, people do get force-fed CNN. They get force-fed Fox News. If you're sort of into the, the outsider, more independent type stuff, they will force-feed you John Oliver or Trevor Noah. And that's not me taking a shot at John Oliver. Sometimes he does some good stuff. But there's been more than a few people who've said, hey, anytime I click one of your videos and put it on autoplay, it goes right to John Oliver every single time. Where in the past, in 2015, 2016, you watch one Secular Talk video, they'll serve you 20 of them bitches straight up. So, my point is, even the numbers being what they are, and YouTube being number one, it might be that some people in that 18 to 29-year-old demographic are just like watching CNN on YouTube. So, for the love of God, and this is I'm begging you, I'm pleading with you, for the love of God, let's get around that algorithm and send these people this show. Send these people alternative media that you know and trust, independent media, new media that you know and trust. And look, to be fair, there are plenty of criticisms of new media. There are. There was a time when I really didn't have a good critique of new media, but now I do. And one of those things is you have to worry about this thing called audience capture, which is there are some creators who they see what pops and they see what doesn't pop, and then they just search. They keep trying to put out stuff that they think will pop, and they sort of follow the whims of the sentiment that's out there. And sometimes that leads you down bad paths. Sometimes that sort of makes you stray from your original mission of giving facts and data and information and important context and, really fundamentally important news, right? The stories that should matter, the stories that should be focused on by mainstream media, but isn't. And so audience capture is a real problem in new media. But look, I try to avoid that as much as humanly possible. I try to stay true to the original mission of the show, and there are plenty of people in independent media, new media, alternative media, whatever you want to call it, who also are trying to stay true to their original mission. And so this does feel, even with all the caveats and all the hedges and all that stuff, it does sort of feel like, hey, it's cool that YouTube is number one on this. It does. It feels kind of cool. I guess the final point I want to make on it is, I definitely would make a distinction between, mainstream media, which again I view as the CNNs, the MSNBCs, the Fox News, the nightly news that you see, CBS, ABC, etc. There's a big distinction and difference between those outlets and print outlets. And I would submit to you that print outlets actually do a pretty decent job, because look, a lot of the information we get for this show come from the print outlets, but sometimes it's stuff that, might be hidden, or a lot of people might not see, or might not get as much circulation, or, for whatever reason, the real investigative stuff that's hard-hitting, that's good, just doesn't really permeate and doesn't get that coverage on the CNNs and the Fox Newses, right? And so, my point is, when I rail against mainstream media and corporate media, I'm not really including in that a lot of the print outlets who I think do a decent job, because there are some real good journalists, around the country that are really committed to the original idea of what journalism is supposed to be. I think of like Jordan Chariton's a great example with Status Coup, but I also think of like Jeff Stein, the economic reporter at the Washington Post. He's phenomenal. He does a great job. And David Dane of the American Prospect, he does a great job as well. And there are some, little gems here and there, even at outlets that sometimes might be kind of cringe, right? And sometimes might be too establishment-y. But anyway, so there you have it. YouTube numero uno. Let's make it so that everybody who's watching YouTube is watching the Kyle Kulinski Show. I need you guys to help me out with that. I need you to send this video to your aunt, send it to your grandpa, send it to all of your friends. Actually, don't spam them. That'd be really weird. But if they're even a little bit interested, send this stuff around and help a brother out, because the algorithm's not giving us any love. Oh, and by the way, it's a good time to mention this too. For those of you who, are more podcast people, now this show is available. The full Kyle Kulinski shows every day are available on all the different podcasting outlets. So check it out over there if you're more of a podcast person. And it's under the Kyle Kulinski Show. It's not under Secular Talk. But anyway, there you have it. Amazing poll. I hope we can stay number one. And I hope that eventually we get to like 80% of the country is getting news from YouTube, from good outlets on YouTube.
Cable news is ripping us apart, dividing the country, making it impossible to function as a society, and making it impossible to know just what is true and what is false. But the good news is they are failing and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream, a healthier one, something more trustworthy, something that we are going to need in one of the most pivotal times in American history. We are building up here for the midterms, for the upcoming presidential election, but we need your help. So if you can help us out by becoming a premium member today at breakingpoints.com, we're trying to change America for the better and the entire world.
So what are you waiting for, guys? Go to breakingpoints.com and sign up and help us build a new mainstream.